Hello and welcome to another of my Neuro Pilates classes. Today we're going to be working on the vestibular system, which is located in your inner ear canals. It's responsible for telling you which way you're going and which way is up. As we age, we tend to become more sensitive. We can have problems like dizziness, vertigo, nausea, balance issues. These are all related to a weakened vestibular system. And so in order to strengthen it, we need to do some of the movements we did when we were kids. So rolling, turning, bouncing, all of these things will improve the neural connection to that system and improve its ability to work well. Here is a picture of your vestibular system. And you can see here's the ear, and then inside, that's as far as we go. And then we have these three canals. And the vestibular nerve is right next to them. So when we move in different directions, we affect the flow of liquid in these canals, which stimulates this nerve. So we want to be conscious to do what feels right for us today, not to move too quickly, do things at a slow pace that suits you so you don't stress your system. We're going to learn a new eye exercise today, which will directly activate your vestibular system, and it's called VOR, or Vestibular Ocular Reflex. And we have a chart here, which I'm going to show you. Now, what I'd like you to do is focus on the letter A in the middle and keep your eyes on that letter, but then start to move your head as if you're running your nose horizontally along that horizontal line. Yeah. So keeping your eye focused on the A, start to turn your head side to side. And only go as quickly as feels okay for you. The faster we go, the more stress we put on the system, and we're just starting out today. Good. Okay, so just see how that felt. And now we're going to try doing the vertical movement. So gazing at the letter A, start to look up as if your nose is tracing the vertical line now, keeping the eyes very still and just moving the head up and down. So some directions will feel easier than others. Just see how this one is for you. Good. And then come back to center. And then we're going to do the diagonal movements. So staring at the A, look up to the top corner and down to the bottom corner. So you're just moving on a diagonal now. Again, move slowly, tracing your nose along that line as you move, trying to make the movements as smooth as possible. Come back to center. Notice how you are. And again, rest if this has been enough for you already. And now we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to look down to the bottom corner and up to the top corner. And just gliding the head as we keep our eyes firmly focused on that letter A. Good. So this is activating those neurons to start to fire attention and activity in your vestibular system. It's not a lobe of the brain, but it is a part that's really important for us to keep healthy and improve. So let's head over to our mat and get started with the class. So we're going to start by standing with our feet hip distance apart. As always, we're going to take a hold of our ribs in this position or in this position and start to do some of that three-dimensional breathing. So at first, just start to notice your normal breath. And again, opportunity to close your eyes here at any time will help you fire more neural connections to your vestibular system. So decide to close your eyes or keep them focused on the ground. And just start to notice your breath. And now take deeper breaths in. Really expand your ribs out so your hands stretch away. And as you exhale, feel the ribs knit in around your lungs to empty them. Deep breath in and long breath out. Anytime we do long, steady breathing, we are stimulating our parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxed response of our nervous system. Okay, release your hands down. All right, we're going to start with a little bit of bouncing. So just want you to bend your knees a little bit and just lift your heels up and down. And just see how that feels. You might want to swing your arms. You might want to do a little twist to see what feels okay. Some of you might want to move your feet up and down and come into a little jog. It depends what feels okay for you. So just choose what feels best, but just get the body bouncing. Good. So if you run or do any aerobic activity, then this is working on your vestibular system, which you may not have known. All right, we're going to slowly turn ourselves around now. So turn one direction and then the other way, to the side and then back. And let's go the other way. Just slowly moving. Let your eyes focus if you feel dizzy at one point in each direction. Good. And then just rest. Close your eyes if that feels okay and just notice how your body is. There might be quite a nervy reaction to that, so just see. I feel a little tingly. All right, our next movement is going to be to take our arms out, palms facing toward me. We're slowly going to turn to the left. And again, if this feels too much, go slowly or give your eyes something to focus in each direction. So your eyes are sort of going first and then your body's coming, right? 3 times slowly in one direction. Now this always affects me. When I used to skate, I couldn't do the spins. It just didn't feel good. It felt really dizzy for me, even when I was young. Bring your hands down. Just notice how you feel. And let's go the other way, turning slowly around. So even though I don't like this, I know that it's good for me. And I don't feel stressed. I just feel a little queasy. Good. All right. And then just notice how you are now. Okay, let's come to the back of our mat. And we're going to come down toward the floor. So just standing. Start to take a nice long breath in. And as you exhale, curl yourself down one vertebrae at a time. And then bring yourself slowly to the mat. Good. So we're going to spread our fingers nice and wide. We'll just do a couple of cat-cow movements. So arching the back, gazing forward. And as you exhale, round the back. I never like to miss an opportunity to do this movement. It always feels so good. So gazing up and gazing down. And if you want to close your eyes and do this, give that a try and see how it feels. Good. So next time you arch your back, take a breath in and gaze back at your left foot. And then exhale, arch your back. Inhale, gaze to your other foot. And just feel these gentle turns, stretching the side waist. The muscles between your ribs getting a little stretch. Let's do one more. Good. Okay, we're going to go and do those VOR exercises again. So you might want to put like a little pen there or a coin or just a sock, something that you can look at. I'm looking at a hair on my mat. Keeping my eyes focused, I'm going to turn my head left and right. Okay, so doing this VOR movement again in a different position. Eyes focused as the head turns. Again, go as slowly as feels okay for you and rest whenever you need to. Good. And then looking forward and down, up and down, only as far as you can keep yourself looking at that spot on your mat. Good. And then come to sit, just shake out your wrists. Maybe give them a little roll one way and then the other way. Okay, we're going to do a little exercise which will work on some core strength. So I want you to come near the back of your mat with your hands spread out nice and wide. I want you to imagine that you've got suction pads on your knees and hands. And you're going to pull the opposite hand and knee up and place them down just a couple of inches as we walk up and down the mat. So lift the knee and the hand and put them down a couple of inches. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lift and lower. Inhale. Good. So in this way, we're walking up the mat with opposite arm and leg and activating lots of core muscles. I like to breathe out through my mouth because it engages more muscles. Now backwards. And the tendency is to go really long. I want you to make these as little as possible and as controlled as possible. So you're trying to keep your knees under your hips the whole time and your hands under your shoulders. It's harder than it looks. Good. Okay, give your wrists a little shake. We're going to do that another time, but this time we're going to add the VOR. So I want you to move your head from side to side, gazing at a point in front of you as you move your hands up and down. So we're adding that extra neural load to the exercise. Ready? So think about those suction pads. Inhaling. So it's like there's a vertical line going down the middle of your mat. You might be lucky enough to have one. And you're gazing at it as you turn your head side to side. Really think that you've got like a tray of drinks on your back and you're trying to not spill those drinks. So keep the back really still. The more you use your abdominals, the more stillness there'll be in your spine. Turning the head, gazing at the mat with your eyes as your head moves until we get to the back of the mat. Good. And we're done. Okay, again, just a little stretch for your wrists. Good. Okay, so let's come now to lie down on our tummies. And just make a little pillow for yourself. Rest your head and just shake your hips from side to side. Just feel the body resting, relaxing into the mat. Okay, we're going to start to do our traditional warm-up with our hands and forearms on the floor. And we're just going to start to lift, pushing into our elbows, lift the chest away from the ground and then down. And again, think about lengthening the spine rather than compressing it. Nice breath in to lift your eyes, look forward, exhale down. One thing I want you to try here is as you come up, try to look down. And then next time you come up, try to look up. And see if you notice a difference in how much your spine can lift. Look down one time. And look up one time. Notice my neck isn't changing. So the eyes are telling the body what to do. So when the eyes look up, the brain thinks extension. And when the eyes look down, the brain thinks flexion, right? So that's how it's important to think about where your eyes are looking. Okay, take a little rest. We're going to move on. So this is going to be quite a dynamic turning, spinning movement. I'm going to do it in different levels, so you can choose the one that's right for you. So we're going to take our one arm out, extended, and bend the other arm. And I want you to push into the bent hand, lift your leg, and spin. Okay? So the bent arm is the leg that goes back, and then release back down again. Extend the other arm, bend one arm, the arm that's bent, look up and spin that leg back behind you. Rest. Change the arms, spin the leg. Good. So this is the first position we're going to try in this sequence. Now this may be a little bit hard on the boobs. I recognize that, so sorry if that is an issue. So just getting used to turning the body around, and you're looking up at the ceiling as you roll. Okay, good. Now the next progression for this one is to have the hands underneath you. You're going to lift up, you're going to push, the leg comes up, you come to sit, and you spin around. And then you come back down, rest on the floor. Push through both hands. The one hand lifts, the leg goes back, and you spin. And then you come down. So push up, more weight into one hand, turn and spin, and release. Lift up, leg goes back. So you've got my foot and my knee touching in this kind of supported leg position. Lift the leg, push the arm. So you're using a bit of momentum to bring you up here. I'm pushing my leg and my hand push together to help me come up. Last one. And again, if this is too much, stay with the first one and be happy with that. Okay, take a rest. Just relax for a moment. Take your legs, just give them a little kick. Just working on the hamstrings a little bit. Good. And if there's any lower back tension, just sway the legs from side to side. All right, let's bring our hands under our shoulders, push ourselves back up, and come into a child's pose. Just rest here for a moment. Let your head drop toward the floor and rest your elbows on the ground. You could always take your arms behind you if that feels better as well. Try to feel the breath in the back of your lungs so that your back body can expand. And exhale through the mouth or the nose. Okay, let's bring ourselves back up. We're going to sit on the floor and we're going to extend our legs out. And we're just going to work a little bit on pulling the flesh out from our bum. Let's have the legs in a V shape so they're pointing toward the edge of the mat. And you can have your hands on the floor or here to see what feels better. And I want you to start to lift your leg away from the ground. So try to lift the leg up. And then the other leg. If you put your hands right here in your hip joint, you can feel that big muscle. It's called your psoas. And it's what connects your legs to your body. And it can be quite weak. So this exercise is really good for strengthening it. So exhale. Inhale. Exhale. When you exhale, you engage your abdominal muscles, which are helping you to lift. Good. Now I'd like you to turn your head to the opposite way. Okay? So as the left leg lifts, you look to the right. And as the right leg lifts, you look to the left. Okay, let's give it a go. And again, you can have your hands on the floor behind you to support you. Okay, well done. So now we're going to do a few exercises on our back. So we're going to bend the knees and we're just going to have our Dynaband close to us for when we're there. So start to lower down onto your back and just rest. Have your feet under your knees and just let your arms rest and just feel how it is to be on your back. So we're going to start with another VOR practice. So I want you to gaze at a point on the ceiling, and then I want you to turn your head from side to side. Yeah, so just rolling on the back of your head at whatever pace feels okay for you. So isn't it amazing how much we can do with our eyes to stimulate different parts of our brain? So each class you're really learning different exercises that you can do anytime during the day. Okay, good, we've got that. So now we're going to move to our pelvic tilts again. So think about where your back is in relation to the ground. This is called neutral, the place where you naturally come to. And then imagine that cherry tomato beneath your lower back. Put your fingertips on your pelvic bone tips. And then as you exhale, squash that tomato into the ground. Come back to neutral as you breathe in. And again, exhale, press the back into the floor. Now I want you to feel your abdominal muscles. If you slide your hands down between your pelvic bones, You might feel there's a little tightness being created there. That's what we want. Good. Make sure your buttocks is soft. We don't want to be clenching the buttocks to do this. It is simply a rocking of your pelvis to activate deep core muscles. Good. So now I'd like you to just do a cough while you hold your belly. And you might notice the belly comes up. That's what we want to avoid with this exercise. We want to keep those muscles strong. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale, press your lower back into the floor, and then start to lift your leg off the floor, one, and then lift the other leg off the floor until they are at 90 degrees, okay? So I want you to keep thinking about pressing your back into the floor as you keep your knees in this position. Hands can rest by your side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to extend one leg and then the other. So you can extend the leg high and bring it back in, and then the other leg. Good. So the lower you go, the more weight you'll be managing. So make sure that you don't arch your back. That would put strain into your back. We want to keep that connection of the spine firmly engaged into the mat. Good, as we move. And I would encourage you to breathe out as your leg extends. Shh. Inhale back. Shh. Good. Now, we'll do a few more of these. And then you may have guessed we're going to add that VOR exercise to the movement. Okay, so let's bring the feet back down to the floor. Take a rest for a moment. Just relax. Deep core stabilizing work we're doing here. So think about your neutral position. Take a breath out. Start to press the lower back, squashing that tomato. Shh. And as you continue to breathe out, lift one leg and the other leg and keep that strong position. So as your left leg goes out, you turn your head to the right. And as your right leg goes out, you turn your head to the left. But remember, your eyes are staying focused on that spot on the ceiling. Shh. So let the head turn. Shh. As you move the leg. Shh. Shh. Good. Think about that lower back pressing into the mat. Everything we do in Pilates is concentrating, precision of movement, but all from a strong, stable core position. Shh. Last one. Shh. Excellent. Good. All right. Hug your knees into your chest and just massage your back from side to side. So we're going to roll forward and back now. So this may be uncomfortable. So you may wish to put your blanket underneath your back now, and that will help you holding the back of your legs and start to just roll. And it might take a couple of rolls to get yourself up. Try to keep your back rounded so it's not straightening. Good. And let your elbows bend and just support yourself behind your knees. So this rolling movement, again, really good for stimulating the vestibular system. That's it. Good. Just do a couple more. And last one. Okay, now we have an option to progress this movement into a bent leg extension. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to roll back. I'm going to hug my knee and extend one leg. And then I'm going to roll back. I'm going to extend the other leg and hug the other knee. So see how that feels, if that's something you want to do. Inhale. Good. Just breathe as best you can. Now we're going to add on here by turning the head to the side where the knee is. So turn the head. Come back. Turn the head. If this doesn't feel good, then just rest and take a break. But if it's a mild stressor, then that's okay because we're trying to improve the system. Good. Okay. The last one we're going to do is legs extended out, and we're going to roll back and extend the legs and just lean forward. So you hug the knees, extend the legs, and just lower the head down. Grab the knees, extend the legs, and drop. Inhale, exhale. And again, if this doesn't feel good, stay with the other one or go back to the first one where you're just rolling. Last one. Excellent. Okay, so just notice how your head, any dizziness or sensations you might be feeling right now. We're going to do a traditional Pilates movement next called the roll up. And for some people, the lower back, like me, can be very flat. And so a blanket can be really helpful to place on your mat. And that will give you a little bit of extra support when you come to roll up and down. So I'd place the mat somewhere where your lower back can be supported by it, like I am here. You also might benefit from having this roll. So I'm going to show you the exercise with the Dynaband first, and if you don't need it, then you can do it without. So place the Dynaband around your feet and just get it equal, and then roll it until your arms are straight. So I want you to sit with a really nice straight back, and you can bend your knees if that isn't possible with straight legs. For a lot of people it isn't. Yeah, good. So imagine this is our letter I position, and then I want you to go into a letter J position. So that's like your jeans pockets are now where you're sitting. So you just rounded your tailbone, okay? And then come back up to your letter I, and then exhale into your J. So we're going to be rounding the back the whole way down to the floor. So from here, letter J, and then let's go down to a letter C shape for the spine. So rounding a little more, and then back to your J, and back up to your I. Exhaling, rounding, 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 feeling the back getting more and more rounded, and coming back up. Good, and then we're going to go all the way down. So J, letter C, lower back touching the floor. Good, and then we lie down. So the Dynaband should be long enough to come with you. Take a breath in. As you exhale, round the back. Keep rounding again. Lift and bend your knees if you need to. Come back to that nice straight spine. Take a breath in. As you exhale, sit into your jean pockets. Feel your pelvis roll all the way through each vertebra as you lie down. Good. So this exercise is really good for your core and the mobility of your spine. So keep using the Dynaband if that's helpful. If not, you can do it with your arms out in front. Take a breath in, letter I from your hip to your head, rounding your back, slowly sliding down. Let the arms come over your head. And as you exhale, rounding, lifting yourself up and back to that letter I. Good. Let's do it a couple more times. Long, slow exhale as you slide down. And I need my blanket up a little higher. Exhale, gazing at your feet as you slowly come up and find that length again. Let's just do 2 more in your own time. So you want to have the blanket just where your lower back is. It'll give you a little bit of extra support. Round, 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 and then find that length. Let's do our last one now. Inhale here. Exhale. Really helping to build good core strength and lots of mobility in your lower back especially. Okay, so let's take the blanket away, and we're just going to place our feet on the floor and our hands either to the side or facing toward your hips, depends how it feels. And then I'd like you to lift your chest, gaze up at the ceiling, and then exhale, lower down. Look at between your legs. Inhale, look up, and exhale down. So as you do this, feel that the upper back is getting a nice stretch, and maybe it might feel nice to lift your hips off the floor. So see if that's possible to lift a little bit and come back down. Let your eyes look up if that feels okay, or let your eyes look straight ahead. This is quite a big stretch for your shoulders and your back muscles. So just see what's possible. Good. If somebody wanted to progress this into more of a spinny thing, you turn your hand to the side, you lift one hand up and come into this little stretch, bring the other hand down, and then lift the other way. So that might not be right for you today. So go back to the other one, either keeping the hips on the floor or lifting them up, and let the eyes turn to look back at the hand and release. Remember, we're trying to help the brain figure out which way we're going and which way is up. Good. Okay, well done. So let's come onto our hands and knees. And we're going to slowly start to bring ourselves up. So walk your hands back towards your feet. Just dangle there for a moment. Shake your head. See how you feel. Again, any lightheadedness, elbows to the knees might be a better option. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, start to slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Okay, we're going to do balance exercises to finish with today. So last week we did the Romberg test, and we're going to do that again, but we're going to add some VOR. So I'd like you to stand at the back of your mat and place one foot in front of the other, and either have your hands out to the side or cross them over your chest. Good. And just feel the weight in your back heel and feel tall through the crown of your head. Now, if you're feeling a little dizzy, just stay here for a little bit longer. If you feel okay, you can start to walk slowly, eyes gazing forward at something in front of you. And slowly walk to the front of the mat till you feel the carpet, and then slowly walk back. And this may be enough for today. Maybe you've had enough stimulation and you want to keep practicing this movement. But for those of you who are feeling okay, we're going to add the VOR. So you're going to stare at something in front of you, and you're going to turn your head from side to side as you move. Okay? So I'm turning my head, and it's not easy. I can feel my feet struggling more on the ground. So just see. You might turn your head just a little bit. You don't have to do big turns. Turning a couple of inches side to side, just to see. Good. So our eyes are struggling a bit, as are our feet, as we move our head. Because normally our head and eyes move together, right? Just go one more time. Again, the more you do these things, the more neural pathways you connect to this part of your brain, and your brain figures out, okay, this is something new I need to learn how to do. And there's always that uncomfortable feeling, and that's just the growth of new neural pathways. That's all it is, that uncomfortable feeling when you're learning something, that little challenge you feel. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Okay, so just see how you were. We're going to come back to center now. We're going to just take a moment to notice how everything's feeling. And we're going to do a final little energizer for the end, so with a little bit of a twist. So I'd like you to bring your arms up in the air and then sweep them down. Lift up and lower. Good. Just a couple of these big arm sweeps to get everything moving, those big leg muscles activated. Now I want you to bring your hands together, and as you come down, twist to the side, and then come up, and then twist to the other side. So feet and knees are together, and we're just breathing in and breathing out. Good. And then we're going to add on an opening of the arms. So we're going to reach up and lower. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, open the arm, exhale, close it. One more time each side. One movement, one breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one. And release. Good. So I hope you enjoyed the class today. we're just going to do one more little test for the VOR system. So remember, we have this chart. We'll just do this one more time. So just let your eyes gaze at the A in the center and just turn your head from side to side. Good. And then we'll go up and down, staring at the A, and then side to side, and then the other diagonal. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that class. Do give me your feedback if it was too easy, too hard, what you liked, what you didn't like, how you feel. I'd love to hear from you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.